there's something to audio. There's something that you can do with audio, even if you don't have the visual. And what I like about Bloom is it took it beyond just what you think you can do in audio. And it basically added something like some multiple dimensions. And what I mean by that is when I was listening to a story, they have these like sex stories you can listen to. And it was like hooking up with an ex was like the theme. And then there was this person's inner voice was like talking in my ear, like it was audio, right? And then they would speak. And then there would be like another person's voice, like, right? Like there would be like a girl in the room and then you'd hear them speak. And so you were really captivated in the story of these sexy things. It wasn't just so flat, which some people would think that audio could be a little boring, and no offense, right? For some of us ADHD folk. So that is what I was so captivated by, is how enriching the experience can be. Kinks and certain scenarios that maybe people commonly fantasize about. Well, you know what? You don't have to dig for gold here. You can go and click on the list of things that are meant for that genre. So I like that.
Bloom is a subscription-based erotic audio platform. What we're all about is giving them actual authentic depictions of pleasure, really giving people a safe place to explore what turns them on.
But you basically walk people through scenarios, not like your instructional teaching, but as if you're in the room with people doing it.
Yeah.
It's realistic. It was not rushed. You wouldn't go faster than the audio. You would be following with the audio, but it wasn't a teacher in the room. It was erotic story in the room. And I think that was a really helpful delivery of sexual education for some people who may not otherwise know or want to consume it.
We have guided masturbations and guided sex for couples. We call them play sessions because that's what they are. They're yeah, you kind of hit it on the head. They're educational, but no one wants to, just sit there and listen to an educational lesson on anal, like you
Like an anal lube,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's meant to kind of give you the sense that someone is in the room with you, kind of gently guiding you through this sort of erotic moment.
I think for me, porn, what's out there is pretty, how should I call this diplomatically? I consume porn. I love porn, but I'm also into some hardcore porn. And part of me realizes it's because I got desensitized to earlier porn.
Right.
So I'm the first to admit, what you see can be seeded in your plant ideas. And then that's how you think sex is supposed to happen. Now, I'm not saying that's always wrong, but if that's where you get your very limited sex education in life is porn. And that's what's available is degrading porn, girls, trying to make $50 to suck a dick, that's what they're learning. Right. And so I think for even if it may have been an unintentional direct hit for what you wanted to do in terms of audio erotica, the education, like literally in all of the stories, in all of it, is teaching people how to flirt, how to, how other people might navigate a situation where maybe you don't know how fucking your ex is experienced by other people, but and you can go and listen to how someone else fucks their ex and wonder if they have the same inner dialogue, the education part is huge. So how when we get new navigation systems in our cars or whatever, and you can pick like what kind of voice you want to be throwing, information at you all the time, and you can be like cringing at some of them, and then some of them laughing, and some of them, soothing. Well, you have the option, I've noticed, to actually click on different voices and hear if you, for example, like certain tone or a certain vibration in someone's voice. Well, you can listen to all their stuff together. You don't have to like drill for gold again, like, as I said, to like look for them. I think you guys have really thought of a lot of perspectives when it comes to how people might be searching for content. And I think that's just really interesting that you for me, I wouldn't necessarily want to hear a certain tone of voice have an orgasm. Maybe I would be like, ew, that reminds me of anti-Semitic, So it's nice that you guys have thought of that,
Some of our VOs, our voice actors, are way, way more popular than others. And they're building like miniature fandoms around these voices. Like we have one who plays a very, very popular professor in this one series that we have called Hot for Teacher. And it's insane. Like the comments we get about him, about his voice. Like people leave some dirty, nasty comments because they love his voice so much.
We hear a sample of the voice that you had mentioned.
Crossing one leg over the other. I want to rub my fingers along your soft thighs. Well, I guess I could use a little relaxation. Slowly, you lower yourself to the ground.
You can always catch the link to Bloom in the description of this podcast or YouTube video, as well as my special link, which does get you 50% off an annual membership or 20% off a monthly membership with the code TorontoUnicorn, no space. That information is also in the description. I would love to know, almost as if we're like gossiping a bit, what do people listen to? What do people really like?
Okay.
Okay.
That kind of surprised me that that's our top, like our kind of top thing. I wouldn't have guessed. But yeah, I don't know. People really, really like having sex.
Even I swing from swinger to poly in my head. I'm like, am I poly? Am I swinger? Am I poly?
Yeah. Yeah.
No, sometimes I need to be handheld for sex. Sometimes I don't. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
I was 30 something. I didn't know what swingers were either.
Yeah, like
you know.
Yeah.
Confused too. I thought they were this underground thing, right? You know, and in a way they are. That's why I can't get anyone to pull my channel unblurred, right? Because it's still this underground thing.
Right.
People are just terrified of sexual shame from society. And I just don't give a single shit about it because I'm here to punch that shame and say, take that back where it came from. We're coming through. And I want to actually help, you know, lead the march, so to speak, of especially like women empowerment, but also male empowerment, especially struggle with body images and issues with rejection, and especially in the sex club culture. I see it all the time. So I'm really becoming a bit more of an advocate for even just single swingers, because a lot of people think swingers are just couples who swap.
Right.
There's so many single people who still want to have threesomes and sex, and you know, so I'm here to kind of help educate. That's what the role of this podcast also is, to help educate the world basically of what swingers actually are in this century, and at least in Toronto, Canada, which is where I'm based. So
yeah, it's like you can ethically consume ethically produced content. Wow. Which for people who that's important to, like that's, you know, that's huge.
It is huge. It's like it could be its own kink, frankly, as being a smart or responsible consumer of what's out there, right?
Yeah.
You can find my podcast on any of the apps you see on your screen.